Hey guys, welcome back to ME Sports TV for the latest episode. And Premier League is done for the season 24-25 season. It marked with ups and downs for Manchester United, which I think the downs have been 80%, or can I say 90% than the ups. Um, it has been a terrible season, embarrassing season, disaster season for United, and marked with another cup loss final against Spurs of the Europa League. And It has been horrendous performance from the players, and I think that the fans deserved better than what we saw this season at Manchester United. But yesterday, the last game of the season, we saw a glimpse of hope of what might be the future for Manchester United. The game against Aston Villa, for the first time, United have managed to win against a team outside of relegation since 29th of January against Fulham. And they did it in fashion. They played so well from the first minute, the last minute, being aggressive, finding, trying to score, having those shot on target, And I saw something different from what I always see in the United games so far this season. And uh, I saw players who wants to play, who wants to win for the first time. And seeing this performance on the last day of the season is quite funny because you ask yourself why couldn't they do this after on those games they lost, but that's it. The season done. They finished 15th actually with the 42 points. Um, Even if they won yesterday 2-0 at Old Trafford, that doesn't um, stop us from saying that United have had a terrible season, one of the worst season in Manchester United history, and finishing with the lowest point, 42 points in 38 Premier League games, with the minus 10 in terms of goal difference. That is horrific inside for Manchester United faithful. So yesterday's game, it was as I've said, it was a nice game. I think I didn't expect United to win the game against Aston Villa yesterday because being that Aston Villa were really they were in pursuit of a Champions League football next season, and United have had terrible season dealing with Premier League teams, dealing with teams in top 10, and Aston Villa being in form, United being out of form, and the importance of this game for Aston Villa. So I was thinking, and I thought Aston Villa could come out of Trafford and play their game. Yes, they did. They played their game, but United came prepared. They played. They dominated from the first minute, the last minute. Uh, you were so unlucky not to. They were so unlucky not to score in the first half. Actually, Manchester United with numerous saves by Emiliano Martinez to keep Aston Villa's hope for the Champions League alive. But he is the same person who I think also dented Aston Villa's hope for the Champions League next season after his, I think, horrendous act against Rasmus Haaland, as he was shown a red card. I think there was no complaint from the Aston Villa faithful about that red card because it was well deserved. We saw the intention. Its intention was to knock out Haaland, which that was happened, and being the denial of a goal scoring opportunity. I think it's a straight red card, and no one can, and no one is going to dispute about that. It was a mistake by um, Emiliano Martinez there. I don't think what was in his head while he was doing that, and that was the mistake that costed Aston Villa the chance of qualifying for Europe for Champions League next season. In the second half, United started from where they finished in the first half. They were playing quite well, but somehow Aston Villa managed to score the first goal. But although it was ruled out after it was judged, I think it was Morgan Rogers was judged. It was a foul on goalkeeper Alti Bandira, and this has caused outrage among Aston Villa faithful, the manager, the club itself, writing to the pig mall, complaining about the experience of the of the referee who was selected to officiate this game, as Aston Villa are arguing that a more experienced referee was supposed to be selected to officiate this game, being the game that is important in there for them. They expected a more experienced referee to be selected to officiate this game, but they are really trying to say that the goal that they scored, it was a clear goal. Actually, I don't know why it was not a goal, but um, it doesn't matter. The argument is that the whistle was already blown, so the VR could not intervene. So whether it was a goal or not a goal, that doesn't matter, because they still had a chance. They still have 17 minutes to maybe to make things right, but somehow they didn't. And Manchester United find the back of the net through Amad Diallo, a replica of the goal he scored against um, I think in the Europa League this season. I think if I'm not wrong, against PAOK. Yeah, the goal he scored against PAOK in the Europa League. The replica of the same goal he scored. He scored against Aston Villa yesterday to put the Red Devils ahead in the second half, and it was a good sight to see for the United faithfuls. Um, Aston Villa, somehow they didn't respond positively, but they did try to respond positively, and somehow they didn't find the net, and United found the second goal through Christian Eriksen after a penalty, after Ian Madsen was punished for the challenge on Amad Diallo, and it was a good show by Bruno Fernandes to let Christian Eriksen take the penalty in his final game for Manchester United. The Dane scored to make it 2-0 for the Red Devils in his 107th appearance for Manchester United in all competitions. You all know that Eriksen, alongside Victor Lindelof and Johnny Evans, bid their farewell yesterday at Old Trafford, as they are now believed they are officially confirmed to be leaving United at the end of the season. And I think Eriksen and Lindelof have also missed out on United's traveling squad to Asia for their preseason friendlies on the 28th and the 30th of May. So that leaves us with the likes of Alejandro Garnacho, Bruno Fernandes, Andre Onana, whom I think at the moment their futures are not yet decided. Even Kobe Menu, he has not extended his contract with Manchester United yet. That matter is not solved yet. So there are just a number of players whom their future at Manchester United have not been yet decided. But I think that's not going to happen now. I think maybe after the end of this season on the 30th of May, after United final preseason post-season friendly, that is where we will see some movement in and out. At the moment, the only news we have is that we could see Alejandro Garnacho leaving the club. Andre Onana have been told by Ruben Amorim to find a new club. Ruben Amorim wants a new goalkeeper in Manchester United next season. That means that the future for Andre Onana and Alejandro Garnacho are not yet decided, but there's a high chance, high possibility that they could leave United at the end of the season. For Rasmus Højlund, loan move maybe to Juventus. There have been chances of him returning back to Atalanta. With Napoli, Inter Milan, all Italian clubs are all interested in Rasmus Højlund, but whether the deal will be permanent or a loan move still remain a mystery, because I don't think United will be entertaining any loan moves for Holland this summer. If they will need to part ways, it could be permanent transfer. I think at the moment, as I said, only Italian clubs are interested in the signature of Rasmus Højlund. Alejandro Garnacho have interest from Napoli, from Chelsea, Bruno Fernandes, Al Hilal. According to the report I read days ago, not confirmed, but just reports, the social media. They that Al Hilal have given Bruno Fernandes until the end of May to decide whether he will sign for them or not, with the 300 million offer, which include a 100 million fee being paid to Manchester United. So that still remain a mystery. Will Bruno Fernandes finally decide to leave Manchester United? And I think this um will also involve the manager, the board, and the players' agent, and they must come into an agreement whether it's time now for Bruno Fernandes to move away of the club, or he still have something left to offer at Old Trafford next season. Um, the new additions at Old Trafford so far confirmed will be we will see the arrival of a Diego Leon, who was signed I think Alasama, the young Paraguayan left back. I will join the Red Devils in June, because there's going to be a 10-day transfer window being opened for the clubs participating in the FIFA Club World Cup, and any club who has any league who has a representative in Club World Cup will be able to sign and sell players in that 10-day window period, the 1st of June, the 10th of June. So Diego Leon can join United in that period. Also, Mateus Cunha, it was a here we go by Fabrizio Romano, confirming United have finally agreed, verbally agreed to sign Mateus Cunha from Wolves, a deal worth 62.5 million pounds, and it is his release close. But what catches my eye, my attention, is the fact that United have managed to convince Wolves to agree on installment payment. United are not going to pay 62.5 million as a package at full. They are going to pay it on installments, and I think the same thing they did with Joshua Zirkzee when he was signed from Bologna at this season. Also, I think they've done it with Mateus Cunha, and it is helping in terms of financial. It's helping financially, and with United in a financial crisis currently, they need to sell more in order to sign more. At the moment, they only have 100 million pound to spend. If the news that has been spreading to be believed, they only have 100 million to spend. Without this doesn't include the fee or the money they'll get by selling players. Remember, they can generate at least 100 million from selling players like Sancho, Ganacho, or rather Sancho, Rashford, and Anthony. Anthony, they have put a 35 million price tag, with Rashford 40 and Sancho 25 million. They can generate around 100 million from these transfers. Alejandro Garnacho, they can get something like 50 million to 60 million. So they can generate around 150, at least 150 by selling French players. If you add it to the 100 million that they've got already, that's around 250 million to spend, at least 250 million to spend this summer. They should put this good money to use, because we don't want to see scenarios of bad recruitment repeating itself again at Old Trafford, because this is what have been a problem. Remember, in the season 23, it still baffles me how they managed to sign Rasmus Højlund for 75 million euros, pounds, if I'm not wrong. They signed Mason Mount 65 million from Chelsea. They signed Andre Onana 50 million. So even the Inter Milan president was surprised United was bidding 50 million for Andre Onana. They bid 65 million for Mount from Chelsea, 75 million. That was a crazy summer from Manchester United, and I think it was the last we saw from the Ineos. I think they from the Glazers, yeah, and John Mutog. Changes have been made, but in terms of transfer, United have been doing great under Ineos. Yeah, they've done so well with their summer acquisitions, additions. Joshua Zirkzee, Lenny Yoro, Mazraoui, Matthias de Ligt, Eden Heaven, Chido B. Martin, Patrick Dogo, and now Diego Leon as well. So I think the Ineos have been doing quite well in terms of signings. They don't spend much compared to the Glazers, whom I think they they were so desperate in terms of signings. So they were throwing out money. They were signing just to please the fans, and that was a mistake because you could see the protest. The fans are protesting. The Glazers out. Then boom, they splash cash out in the market, sign players without even thinking twice. Then the fans come down. Then the season repeats itself and again. For the Ineos, I don't think one thing have already been saying is that they don't want to be bullied in the market, and this happened last season as well because somehow they refused to pay 75 million pounds demanded by Everton for Gerard Branthwaite, and they instead opted to sign um, Lenioro from Lille for around 55 million pounds. So at the moment, they actually before signing Euro, they made two bids to Everton for Branthwaite. It was 35 million and 45 million. And the United said they are not going to add onto that. They're not going to make any more bids, and the bid will remain on the table until Everton decides if they're going for it or not. So United opted out of the deal to sign Branthwaite, and they went for Lenior. So that's just a clear message from the board that they are not going to be bullied in the transfer market as it has always been under the Glazers. There's something they call the Manchester United tax, where United are involved, the fee is doubled. They can sign players for the double fee and compared to other Premier League clubs in terms of the transfer fee involved. Somehow they signed Maguire for 80 million from Leicester. They signed Lukaku 75 million from Everton. They signed Casemiro 60 million from Real Madrid, spending 75 million on Haaland, spending 60 million on Mount, 50 million on Andre Onana, spending 90 million on Anthony, and around 80 million on Sancho. So Sancho 80 million, Anthony 90 million, Holland 75 million, Mount 60 million. All these four players have been signed for a very huge figure, and all of them have not managed to pick at Old Trafford. And we could see there's a potential, both of them, all of four of them might leave Old Trafford at the end of this season. So that's a bad business. And when it comes to the Ineos, they've been trying to manage how they spend. And if they go with the same trend of the remainder of the next 2-3 seasons, I think it will be now United will have a good breadth or a good chance of signing players at a lower fee in the transfer market. At the moment, Mateus Cunha's release clause was 62.5 million pounds. That one, no argument on that. You need to activate the release clause of a player if he has one. So for Mateus Cunha, the only thing they've done better is trying to negotiate with Wolves to allow them to pay this fee in installment, which I think is a better deal for the Red Devils. So Mateus Cunha is a good player in terms of his versatility in the Premier League. He has experience in the Premier League. He knows this formation well, the 3-4-2-1 formation, as Vitor Pereira has been playing it at Wolves. So he has a bit of knowledge on this formation, and these are the kind of players that I think Ruben Amorim wants at Old Trafford next season. Remember yesterday he said that when he came to United after 3 games, Ipswich, I think Forest and Everton, he said the storm will come, and it did. The storm came. Yesterday he said after after the season was a disaster, he can now say that the disaster is gone and good days are coming. So what do you think should be United's priority this summer? They need a striker, they need a goalkeeper, they need a midfielder. Playing Bruno Fernandes as a defensive midfielder costed Manchester United at the final against Spurs because Bruno Fernandes is not that kind of midfielder you could trust to have the ball without losing it in midfield, because somehow he forgets that he's playing with against the team, because somehow he loses focus with the ball. He loses the ball so easily, Bruno Fernandes, and sometimes his passes are sloppy and can cost the team a lot. So him playing deep in midfield, I think it is not always a good idea, and that means with maybe Casemiro leaving United at the end of the season, United needs a midfielder, a holding midfielder, a more like a box-to-box midfielder who can play defensively quite well, who can play under pressure. A player like Mose Caicedo of Chelsea, player like I can say a Gravenberch of Liverpool, um, like Rodri of Manchester City. They really play with a lot of experience in that midfield. It's like trying to play De Bruyne in the CDM position. He can't do that because he lacks the awareness when it comes to defending. So United needs a defensive midfielder as well, a holding midfielder, box to box midfielder. They need a right wing back because Diego Dalot, I don't think he is that kind of person. I think who is more well advanced in terms of playing a right wing back. He is good offensively, but defensively, Diego Dalot is not good. Mazraoui is good at RCB. He has developed more as a right centre back, and I think he might continue there for the rest of his career at Manchester United. So that's it for the season. With the top five finalizing itself, United missing out on both the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. That means next season, no European football at Old Trafford. Somehow, Forest have failed to qualify for the Champions League after spending almost half of the season in the top four. They have failed to qualify for the Champions League. Surprisingly, they have failed to qualify for the Europa League as well, but somehow they have qualified for the UEFA Conference League, with Aston Villa qualifying for the Europa League. So we are going to have at least five Premier League teams in the Champions League. No, six, yeah, six with Spurs after winning the Europa League. We want to have six Premier League teams in the Champions League next season. Six, and three other Premier League teams, two in the Europa League and one in the UEFA Conference League. We have Aston Villa and Crystal Palace in the Europa League, and we have Nottingham Forest in the UEFA Conference League. So we're going to have a total of 9 Premier League teams in Europe next season, and out of those 9 Premier League teams, there'll be no Manchester United. They stick to Premier League, the Carabao, and the FA Cup as far as next season is concerned. And their aim for next season, according to the latest reports we read, is that United are targeting a top 6 finish next season. That means they are targeting to finish in European places. They don't care if it will be the Champions League, the Europa League, or the Conference League. They are just focusing on finishing in the top 6 next season. And that can only happen if they do, or if they want to do something magical in the transfer market. Because when you look at Liverpool, they've won the league and they are doing magic. They are signing. They have lost Arnold to Liverpool, yes, but they have replaced him with Frimpong from Leverkusen. They are close to signing Milo Kekes from Bournemouth. They are close to signing Florian Wirtz from Leverkusen, and they might sell Darwin Nunes and bring in either Gyökeres or Julian Alvarez. So for Liverpool, they are well packed or prepared for next season. Manchester City are also in the market, with Tijani Reinders being considered among other midfielders. For Chelsea, they are always in the market, and the moment the season finish, Chelsea starts to rumble in the transfer market. Arsenal, they've already signed Zubimendi, and they are going in for Benjamin Sesko or Gyökeres from Sporting CP. So all these teams are making big moves. For United, somehow they are interested in signing Liam Delap, the young English striker. I don't think if Delap have the have what it takes to lead the line at Old Trafford next season. When you have Chelsea having Gyökeres, you have Liverpool having Alvarez, you have Arsenal having Cisco, and you have Man City with Haaland, even Spurs with Solanke, even Villa with the Watkins, even as Newcastle, if they manage to keep Isak, and United coming down the line with Liam Delap, it's going to be a difficult season for them if they're not going to change their transfer strategy in terms of finding who is going to take over from the Dane, Rasmus Højlund.